Bridgeway Community Church. We are in a time and a season where several of you might be feeling a little bit of anxiety, concern, fear because of immigration status. And not just because of your status, but because of the reality of sometimes people don't even know where you're from or if you're a citizen just because of the way you look. I talked to somebody who was from Puerto Rico, and this person said they're carrying their passport with them now, even though they're Puerto Rican and they're an American citizen. I know somebody else who is from Canada, and as a white person from Canada, they're carrying their papers with them. I know a Jamaican guy on our staff that was born here, raised here, and he's making sure he has his license and his passport just in case. So if ICE, which stands for the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Agency, were to come into schools or churches or hospitals, which now it's been reported that they can, they have, and they will, we just want to make sure that our church is prepared. Why? Because we have over 60 different nations of people who are worshiping the Lord together. And we want to make sure that we are also compliant with the laws of the land. And so indeed, ICE is allowed to come into the doors of Bridgeway Community Church, and they are allowed in the public areas. That's the lobby, that's the sanctuary, our parking lot. However, they're not allowed in private and restricted areas. So if you encounter someone from ICE asking you any questions, know your rights. And your rights are you have the right to remain silent. So just exercise that and say, I have the right to remain silent. And then also, if they ask any questions, just refer them to the Chief Operations Officer, Frank Eastham. So anybody who serves here, anybody who works here, anybody who worships here, if you're asked a question, just say, see the CEO of Bridgeway Community Church, and we know how to handle it from there. Also, there is a red card that's going to be available in the lobby and in public areas. You can take as many as you can. We'll be having multiple ones printed in the weeks to come. And if you are stopped by an ICE officer, just simply hand them the red card. On the red card, it says that you do not wish to speak, but to exercise your rights. You can speak to a lawyer. They must have a warrant. So all the details of this is important. Whether you speak English or not, just hand them this and you can remain silent. Also on the back, it tells you what your rights are. So even if you're not at Bridgeway and you're home, you do not have to answer the door. You do not have to answer any questions. You do not have to sign anything unless there is a warrant. These are all rights for citizens and non-citizens alike. So you should know your rights. Lastly, what I want you to do is to make sure you check out bridgeway.cc/immigration. We did an immigration seminar with Luminous, an organization that helps new citizens. And so there were questions asked and answered. I think you will find this very, very beneficial. So check it out and send your friends to bridgeway.cc/immigration. Listen, we need to pray for our nation. We need to pray for our president. We need to pray for our government. And we need to pray for people who are feeling a bit of fear and anxiety because of things that are changing in our country. And so whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, an independent, whether you're conservative or liberal, none of that matters right now. What matters is that you know your rights and that you know that we are not bound by the law of the land in every single way to the degree that we forsake the law of the Spirit. Don't let the law of the land crush the fruit of the Spirit in you. That is the greatest law, the law of love. Let me say one last thing. There is a difference between a criminal and a civil violation. If I don't renew my license, that's a civil violation. It's not a crime. If I get pulled over for speeding 10 miles an hour over the limit, that's a civil violation. I'm not a criminal. If I drive off and they chase me, now I've become a criminal. And so just because someone is here and maybe their visa lapsed, that doesn't make a person a criminal. It's a civil violation. And it's important to understand the difference even in our language so we don't call people criminals if they haven't committed crimes. There's a legal code for what a criminal is. And having a lapsed visa or not having the right documents is a civil offense, not a criminal one. I thought I'd clarify that. I can't wait to worship with you on Sundays, during the week, whenever we have the doors open. If you feel just a little bit of anxiety and you're not sure, thank God for our online service. Enjoy it there. Until we meet again, may the Lord be with you. Amen and amen.